Hi, this is Jenna Parker. Welcome back. We're here with Dance Every Damn Day, and today our special guest is Dumas from the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, Solomon.
Welcome.
Yeah, oh
Welcome.
yeah, thank you. We're in
Welcome.
Solomon's home. How much more intimate can you get than that? Thank you for inviting us in. It's beautiful and nice and cozy. So we just want to get started by asking a couple of questions about you working with Ailey. How long have you been with the company?
So I've just started my third season. I joined the company in May of 2016. Now I've re-engaged my contract for this is the third season. So 60th anniversary actually.
Ooh.
Celebrating the 60th
What an
anniversary.
amazing time to be a part of Ailey.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So what is unique about the company that keeps you coming back?
What's unique about the company? Well, I will say that it is one of the most diverse companies I've worked with in terms of the breadth. We work with Ronald K. Brown, who I actually danced in his company. He is, dare I say, one of the residential choreographers. So that is an Afro, contemporary, African contemporary, modern, as well as he incorporates Afro-Cuban, Caribbean, and different styles within the West African genre as well, like styles from Guinea as well as Senegal, Saba. So we work with him. We also do what I like to call old black dance works by either Ulysses Dove or Tally Beatty or Mr. Ailey himself. We also perform works by European choreographers. We've worked with Mauro Biganzetti. We've worked with Wayne McGregor. He's restaged a promo on the company, and he will also be restaging a piece called Kairos for the 60th anniversary. We've worked.
I mean, there's a lot of
Johan
choreographers.
Inger, yes.
Yes.
A lot of choreographers. So I get a chance to get my life in the black dance genre, as well as the contemporary genre, as well as the contemporary European choreographers. We've also done works by Olhat Nairine, and I hear he might be coming back, and we're trying to get him to come back to do a work. So yeah.
Awesome. Do you have a particular preference?
Wow. I prefer to do Mr. Ailey's work because it's something that I'm connected to. Spiritually, historically, I feel like I understand his work. For obvious reasons, he's African American, he's a black man. He's also, he choreographed it from his point of view, his perspective. A lot of his earlier works were based on his blood memories, growing up in the South. And, I use Revelations as an example because, clearly we know what Revelations is about, but it also tells you a little bit about the time period. African Americans or blacks in the country, that was their that was the hallmark of life, the church.
Most definitely.
Especially in the South. So it's something that, I don't know, it's embedded in my DNA clearly, but it's something that I immediately connected with when I saw the company. Something that I could identify. Not that, when I seen Nutcracker or other works, it wasn't that I didn't necessarily understand it, of course, but it was something that I could immediately identify. It's something that I recognized.
It's like your soul recognized its soul.
It was literally like a mirror.
Right.
I could see my reflection.
Yeah.
And that's pretty important. And it was important for me at the time because that's what inspired me to take dance seriously. And it gave me permission to make this a career choice, or it gave me a little bit of positive reinforcement. Yeah.
Is that how you started with dance? Did you see Ailey? Was that your first kind of exposure?
Interestingly enough, my mother forced me to. So okay, let me backtrack. So one of the components of the Ailey organization is outreach, and so before Mr. Ailey made his transition, before he died, one of his last dreams was to create a camp or a program for inner city underserved youth, to learn discipline through dance and just have an opportunity to be affected by arts through education.
Right.
And so that dream materialized into Ailey Camp.
Mm-hmm.
And so Ailey Camp, of course, like I said, is a camp for inner city youth.
Mm-hmm.
And it exposes them to dance as a discipline. And you learn about the history of the company, Mr. Ailey. And you learn ballet at the time. I remember we took classes in ballet, jazz, maybe there was hip hop or anything or something like that. But there was also a personal development component where you took creative writing and you got a chance to express yourself and express it. You got a chance to speak through different exercises.
Mm-hmm.
Exercises, be it poetry writing, creative writing.
Right.
I remember we journaled. Distinctly remember we started the day saying affirmations and we ended the day saying affirmations. So it does something to you on a cellular level. It touches you, and it's a transitional camp for youth, and it's empowering. But you use dance as the discipline to empower you. And so my mother forced me to go to the camp, because I was always in a program. There was no growing up. There was no staying at home. Right. You got to do something.
Right.
You got to do something. If it wasn't some sort of program, it was like a tutoring or academic. It was something to keep me busy.
Yes,
She didn't want me in the street.
Right.
She didn't want me to be idle for too long. So my mother forced me to go to the camp, and learning the history about Mr. Ailey and knowing that, oh wow, he grew up in a single parent home. He discovered dance. He was introduced to dance through a friend of his as a teenager. His comment a lot, but and just it kind of mirrored my story a little bit, somewhat. And so that was inspiring, and to know that, so many years later, he created this organization that has touched so many lives. It's shaped artists' lives. He's provided this place where artists of color, choreographers, composers, dancers, lighting designers. Costume, you know what I mean?
Yes,
he created this space for so many people of color to have a platform to express themselves creatively, and so that was inspiring. And so that's how to make a long story short, that's how I was introduced to dance.
How does it feel to be a part of these iconic numbers, like Revelations?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I
Yes.
still feel like the same 14-year-old boy. I still have these moments where I still, it hasn't gotten old yet or stale yet, because I still have the same excitement I had as a 14-year-old. I still get nervous when I hear Cinnamon. If I'm sitting in the audience or beside of the stage, I still get nervous for the dancers, because those are hard variations. And now that I have to do them, I'm just as nervous in the wing, like, look, it's time to go. It's like you're being shot out of a cannon.
Right.
So I still.
And you were able to perform some of these when you were with Ailey too,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
So,
when I was in Ailey too, I was much younger, in my early 20s, and at the time, Ailey too was headed by Miss Sylvia Waters, and so being in the studio with her, I wouldn't trade those experiences for anything, because she was very close with Mr. Ailey. She worked with him. She danced in this company before it became, the company that it is today. She danced with him when it was a pickup company.
Right.
You know what I mean? So to receive the information about the piece, and it's actually secondhand information, like she was right there in the studio with Mr. Ailey, as well as when he started the second company,
Mm-hmm.
in 1974, he was still active, and I'm sure he would come into rehearsals with the second company dancers. And so she remembers like all of this information. She has so much information that prepared me for this first company. So it, it's a rite of passage to be able to perform that work, because that is the most known work of Mr. Ailey, the most sought out work. I think that's the piece that when we go to certain cities, when we tour Atlanta or Chicago, or cities with large populated,
It's expected.
large populations of Black people or
Yes.
people of color. That is expected, and they expect an encore as well.
Right.
They expect
They
an
better
encore.
come
They're
back
like,
out. Yes.
it's like busloads of church people
Yes.
who, some people just come to see Revelations. Like, they could care less what
The new
else
stuff
is on the
or-
program,
right.
or God forbid, it's a European work that's not necessarily, as understandable
Right.
as,
Well, I think that's like what you said. It's part of the beauty of
Right.
Revelations, because it is so relatable instantaneously
Right.
to someone that has experienced Black culture.
Right. As well as, and it's interesting, even in Europe, the way it's accepted in Europe is amazing. In certain places, we'll have like 2 encores, or they clap in unison. They get really excited and they clap in unison, and it's like this one large clap. And sometimes they stomp and stamp their feet, and it's interesting because in certain places people are already in the parking lot by the time we're still on stage.
Yeah,
Like,
yes,
okay,
yes.
all right, okay,
Yeah.
but it goes to show you that. Of course, Revelations is based on the African American experience through the modern dance tradition, but it makes the African American experience a more tangible and understandable experience for everyone,
Yes.
and they understand what it is to be triumphant, and what it is to persevere, and what it is to be to celebrate life, and to celebrate faith, and,
Even within the oppression.
right, exactly.
Great. Was Ailey, with the first company, always a goal?
Yes. I can say that now. Now that I'm in the company, I can say that now. Of course, there were other companies, but in terms of the model company that I wanted to dance for was the Ailey company. Not many people who were Ailey campers, I don't think they imagine themselves being in the company, or putting in the work, or staying the test of time to get into the company, because I did Ailey camp in 2011, no, 2001, and I joined the company in 2016. Of course, in 2005, I wanted to be. I thought I was ready to be. But there were a lot of training, a lot of experiences, and a lot of personal growth that had to be done prior to joining this company.
But you made it, and here you are.
Yeah.
So, give us a taste of what we're going to see on stage
Okay,
this week.
so wow, you're gonna be
What will
able
we
to
see you in specifically?
You can see me in Golden Section, a piece by ballet by Twyla Tharp, who Twyla Tharp is another choreographic genius. She is a female choreographer, a woman choreographer, who is credited as one of the first crossover ballet choreographers. What I mean by crossover ballets is that she choreographed postmodern movement, modern movement, as well as ballet movement on ballet companies to popular music at the time. And so that was something that hadn't been, I don't want to say it hadn't been done before, but it hadn't been celebrated by a female choreographer before, as it was with Twyla Tharp. And she's an amazing human. She's a scientist in the studio. She's extremely smart, and it's just been an honor to work with her. We've gotten a chance to work with her for a week, She finally came into the studio to work with us and work
Yes.
out all the kinks and give us the history of the work. And that's something that is very important when you get a chance to work with choreographers, especially those pioneers who,
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
invaluable.
Tony, Emmy Award winning,
Yeah.
choreographer like her,
Mhm.
who's just been everywhere, who's choreographed on Royal Ballet, who's choreographed on Paris Opera, who was, at one point in time, her company merged with American Ballet Theater, and she worked as artistic director for a short period with American Ballet Theater, which is amazing as a woman, as a choreographer who didn't start off as a ballet choreographer. So that, okay, getting back to what you're gonna see.
Yeah,
You're gonna
no.
see. Sorry, I went off on a
So
tangent because
valuable.
it's just been amazing being in the studio with her.
Most definitely.
And for her to know my name, like, whoa, okay.
Yes.
It's kind of like, ooh. But we're doing that work. We're also doing the work by Jessica Lang, who is another female choreographer, contemporary choreographer who has her own company, but she's also worked with readings. But EN is that's the title of the piece, and it's based on time and karma, and it's a beautiful piece. There's so many visually, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Just there's so many things to focus on in the pieces. So we are bringing back pieces that Vitali Vidi, Stack Up.
It's one of my
the
favorites.
the Stack Up, and that piece is based on.
It's a fun piece.
It's a character piece.
Yes.
It's very theatrical. It touches on a time in our culture where in the 80s and 70s when the drug epidemic happened, and it's based on city life. Actually based in, I thought it was at one point in time, I thought it was based in New York, but it's actually based in LA, and about the city life and nightclub life and the effects of drugs. And at that time, it's another theatrical piece, period piece.
Some Earth, Wind and Fire.
Earth, Wind and Fire.
Yes.
Like the whole score is based on,
Yes.
and then another group from the 80s, rap group, but it's a lot of fun.
Yes.
It is a lot of fun.
Will we see you in that?
Yes. You'll see me in that.
Great.
Members Don't Get Weary, choreographed by Jamar Roberts, who is a current company member, senior member in the company, and that's choreographed to the music of John Coltrane. And that's another contemporary work based on. Well, I've been talking a lot.
No,
It's
that's
an
good.
interview.
That's the point.
It's an interview, but
That's
it's
the
based
point.
on. It's a contemporary perspective
Right.
on oppression.
And something set to Coltrane. I'm
Yeah,
sure it's
exactly.
going to be very powerful.
It's beautiful. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful work. It's a beautiful work.
I want to know what has been most challenging for you on your journey.
Staying committed and faithful to my purpose as an artist, and just having that little bit of faith that something will work out.
And is that how you've gotten through the challenges? Remembering that seed of faith that something will work out?
Yeah, definitely. I will say that being an artist, any type of artist, is it's extremely challenging. And I remember I moved to New York in 2009, and I didn't get into Alvin Ailey until 2016, so it took me 7 years to actually achieve that. And a lot happens in 7 years.
Right.
Like, you grow. I've grown spiritually and mentally.
But a lot of successes have happened in between that time as well.
Yes. But staying the course has been a definite challenge. A definite challenge because life, for me, has always gone up and down, and I've been pretty fortunate to have a lot of people help me, be it give me opportunities to, where you had given me an opportunity to work with you in your first produced, self-produced, self-choreographed, self-directed work. That was the same year I got into the company, I believe.
Right after.
That was right after.
That
was 2000. That was December 2015 or November of 2015.
Yes.
And then I got into the company in May of 2016. And even though I remember my grandfather passed during the process, and I remember that, but you know, staying the course of time, like I've had so many wonderful experiences and wonderful opportunities to still express myself creatively, and you know.
Have there been times where you wanted to give up?
Yes, there have been more times I wanted to give up than honestly.
What advice do you have to that person right now that is sitting there like, oh man, like I cannot take it anymore. I'm going to fold in the towel. What advice do you have for them?
Continue to if you know there were moments when, you know, growing up, not growing up, but being an artist, there were moments when there were times when you just had to make money. And so you had to take jobs that had nothing to do with why you came to New York and nothing to do with your passion, just to be able to survive. And in the midst of taking that job, be it waiting tables, be it teaching, be it, you know what I mean, be it whatever it is that you have to do, I worked at a gym, and I was thankful for that.
Right.
But when I took the job when I applied for the job and I was choosing my schedule, in the midst of choosing my schedule, I decided I'm going to take Mondays off. That's going to be my off day because I know a lot of auditions happen on Monday. And it just so happened that the Ailey audition happened on Monday. And not that I thought I was going to get it, but I just had that little bit of, you know, you never know what can happen. You never know. And I can tell you a story about my audition. I remember going to the audition, and the audition started at 2. I didn't get off the train until like 1:30. Now, any smart professional would already be at the location of the audition warming up.
Right.
But I decided to get off the train at 1:30 to run to Sancha to get ballet shoes.
Oh my.
Only to walk through the building at like 1:50, like 1:45, 1:50. And keep in mind, you have to register at these auditions. So I came in at the last minute. And I did that on purpose because I know how I am. Like, when I'm, like, I know how I am.
The nerves.
And nerves, I just could not wait around and, like, look at all of these different people who have the legs right here who are stretching. You know, you have those people at the audition who like to show off. And, like, and I didn't want that to, like, just affect me.
Right.
So, I remember being, like, the last person to walk in the room. And I said, okay, Solomon, like, because there were some handsome, tall guys, you know, like from Ailey-esque guys, you know, those handsome guys, tall, muscles, legs up to here, you know what I mean? And I said, just stay focused. And I remember the audition always starts off with ballet bar, and you do some center work, or you go across the floor, they make cuts, and so made it past the ballet. Okay. I remember Ulysses Dove, we did episodes. We did a phrase from episodes. They made a cut. And then they said, we're going to do a little bit of Rennie Harris. So that required you to wear sneakers. So they said, you know, fellas, if you got sneakers, go get your sneakers. We're going to do some hip hop. So I said, okay. Sneakers were all the way, audition was on the 5th floor, sneakers were all the way in the basement. So I had to go to the basement, get my sneakers. For some odd reason, I either lost track of time because I came back into the audition and they were already learning the combination, and so you hear the door open and everybody turns around, like, and I'm like, oh God, like, they've already started learning the hip hop phrase. So, okay, Solomon, get your ass together, get your stuff together, and pick this combination up. So I made it past that, made it through that combination, And then they said, I think the next thing to learn was Ronald K. Brown. So I made it to that portion, and I had a little bit more confidence with that because, I mean, when you dance in a person's company,
Right.
you work closely with that choreographer. Even if you don't know the choreography that they're teaching in the audition, you know
their
a little
style.
bit about the style and where, where it stems from, physically and what that, so I made it past that portion. And by that point, I was just having fun.
Right.
Because I psyched myself out not to even believe that I would get it because there were so many like amazing dancers at the audition. And so then I guess the panel had to deliberate, so we told us to change clothes.
Yeah.
So I got on the elevator, ran into some people. Those auditions are like reunions. You run
Right.
into people you hadn't seen since college or whatnot.
Yes.
So you're like lost track of time. Lost track of time again. I come back up on the elevator and I see like the whole the waiting area was like empty, and I saw like the two guys who may have been cut earlier, and they said, "Oh, they're looking for you," and I said, "Oh snap!" So I turn the corner and I see Matthew rushing at the door, and when he saw me, he kind of he looked frazzled at first, and then he kind of I guess released, or he whatever. He was like, "Okay, I see him. He's cool." So I see all the guys lined up.
Like you weren't there
Here I am. So then Chaya, I walk in the room, and then Chaya said, "Oh, you take a shower." Chaya, Masasumi Chaya, our associate artistic director. He said, "Oh, you take a shower?" He's cracking a joke, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I'm coming in the room, just color. "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just late," and so Robert Bowser was talking, and at that point, I'm thinking, okay, this is my day off. I just spent a good 4 hours at this audition. I'm hungry.
Right.
So I'm zoned out. I'm like,
Right,
hey, where am I
right.
gonna eat? You know what I mean? And something told me, Charlie Brown, the teacher, wah, 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 wah. That was Robert Battle at that point. He was just talking, giving his end of the audition spiel, and something told me to just pay attention. So I was zoned out, looked at the panel, and almost everybody on the panel had made eye contact with me. So then I said, okay, let me look at Robert. And then he kept making eye contact with me, probably okay, are you here? Are you zoned in? And so I said, oh no. I'm why is everybody making eye contact with me? So I'm paranoid at one point in time. I'm oh God, I made a huge impression today, coming in late for each portion of the audition. And then he said, we only have one spot in the company available, and that spot belongs to Alvin Dumas. And so I was just like, whoa. But thinking back in retrospect, to answer your question, when I took that job at the gym, which that was not my passion to work in fitness. I mean, I designed my schedule so that Mondays I would have free for whatever audition or whatever, and this is just being being in the city for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And I also designed my schedule to open the gym and, get off at least by 11 a.m. You know what I mean? Or at least, so I can have my day to do what I need to do. And I had 6 jobs at the time. So I was teaching here, doing this, So, but I designed my schedule to, in the event that if anything were to happen, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Just that faith. I think that little bit of faith that,
yes.
Hey, there might be an audition I can go to on a Monday.
Right.
Go.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If
you always kept a window open for
right
yourself.
For opportunity.
Yeah.
So always keep that, even if you have 20% left in you, you know what I mean?
Hold on to it.
Hold on to that little bit of faith because you never know what. And I never thought I would get into this company when there was only one spot for a male dancer. I never thought that highly of me. I never thought I would be that, special to be hired as the one male for the year, but it happened. So, yeah. Getting back to the question you originally asked, 30 minutes later.
That's all.
Yeah, you have a home here, so you don't have to worry.
Thank you.
Absolutely.